And the business demands it.
Yeah, and the business demands it, so I have to come out and I have to look presentable, you know. Basically, you know, here, you see me at a thing, I'm always going to have a drink in my hand, you know, I am left-handed, so you'll always see a drink in my left hand, and if you don't see a drink in my left hand, it's because the drink is behind my back. You'll see my hands behind my back a lot when pictures are being taken, because that's when they don't want drinks in front of you. So, but other than that, there's a lot of pictures out there for the last 3 weeks with drinks in my hand. Me, actually, Prince Wilhelm, who is the Prince Wilhelm is the main force behind Sherdog. Mm-hmm. He's the one that creates all the music that I play with. I'll take his music and rearrange his music to suit what we're doing. I mean, I did that. Here's another thing. I mean, I sat there and actually wrote a song. I mean, I did a rearrangement of a thing for Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So, I mean, I sat there. My specialty is arrangement. And I said, I can write lyrics in about 10 seconds. So I just took somebody's arrangement and basically screwed around with the song for her. She laughed about it. You know, I don't know whatever happened to that, but I did write it down on some paper and give it to me. She may have thrown it away, but she thought it was funny. Well, we're putting it back in the 1940s. There was a lot of, they swam all over the dam, basically a lot of weird songs. I was good at writing weird songs, so, but I think I gave it to her, having a birthday before one of the 3 things I did, so I simply scribbled a thing down to the deal, and I sat there, and everybody's going, everybody's sitting there while they're having their little lunches, which they're really crappy lunches to eat in those days. Actually, she had the good lunch. We had the little box lunches. She had the good lunch because she was the star. Actually Jane Withers was a star too. Jane Withers had the good lunch. Margaret O'Brien didn't even get the good lunch. She had to eat with us. I mean, we're talking little Bobby Blake and little Bobby Blake, little Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell? I recognize that name.
Yeah, Quantum Leap and stuff. But we got the crappy lunches, folks. They did not bring the crappy lunch out to the stars. They said, we got our little box lunch, and we got our little apple, we got our little sandwich, and then we were allowed. If we were really nice, we got a soft drink. Which basically meant somebody went out to a machine, put a nickel in the machine, and brought back something for us to drink, which was generally just strawberry, grape Lehigh, or a Coke of some type, a soda pop, with more actually Dr. Pepper in that time. So, but that was our lunch. I got to eat lunch with Elizabeth. 3 times I got to eat lunch with Elizabeth, because she had to have lunch before she could go work. They do the sequences like I was in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. She'd come from school, which is probably, if you've seen it out there, the little red schoolhouse out there, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That used to be studio school thing, but she'd come from over there. She would sit down with everybody else. They would bring us out our Bach lunches.
And then they'd bring something else.
They'd bring out for her and Jane Withers. Jane Withers was her father, Grant Withers, was still a big man. Big, he was part of the John Ford Brick Company, folks. He was an Irishman. So you treated Grant Withers with much respect. And the guy worked for like 60 years. So his daughter, Jane Withers, was basically a big young actress at that time, had her own series of movies. Mm-hmm. They got the good food, but the other little guys like me, they come, my grandmother would tell him, well, he either gets a lunch or he doesn't come. So there was no lunches provided for people like me.
Well, yeah, but they pulled you out of school, so you didn't get your lunch at school.
I didn't get my lunch at school. They yanked me from my regular. I went to regular school, not their school.
Yeah, so that's why your grandmother said it, because she knew you needed to eat.
My grandmother said, he gets lunch and he gets $5. Yeah, $5.
Yeah, but at that age, that's probably a big deal.
I used to buy comic books and go to movies. Were like $0.25 to go to, so I could go to the movie. And I also got free passes to go to things. I mean, actually, I did go to the premiere of National Velvet. Which I got to walk down that line with my grandmother. and here's what I got tons of pictures taken because they're saying, I mean, okay, I've been in a god awful lot of westerns, but I'm behind Taylor and Mickey Rooney. My father knew Mickey Rooney. My father was Mickey Rooney's commanding officer in World War II. My father knew Mickey Rooney also. And I remember Mickey Rooney, he'd be my friend. He'd go like this, and he'd say, here's my friend, he's worked with Betty several times, and she, with a little smile, and he said, let's get a group picture. So I got some pictures. I do have, my house burnt down 5 years ago, so I lost most of that stuff, but I've been a picture I should never have been in. Because Mickey Rooney was a nice kid, so we're
So who else was in the picture?
Mickey Rooney, Elizabeth Taylor, and me. And I'm not the one with my arm around Taylor, folks.
Mickey Rooney was.
I'm the one with, standing here. Here's Mickey Rooney, Elizabeth Taylor, and I'm the guy up here. And I'm looking, you'll see this in some of the pictures, with group pictures. I'm the guy behind doing like this so I could be in the picture. And then when the picture came out, when the picture went to the publication, they went, eep! But that was because Mickey Rooney was nice, and so was Taylor. She was a teenage girl, and she didn't really want to be there, but she had to be there. But I got a picture at the, I had a picture. Hey, folks, anybody you out there to remember, you got a picture of Mickey Rooney, Taylor, and me from 60 years ago. 70,
at the premiere.
70 years ago.
At the premiere of National Velvet.
Yeah, at a premiere of National.
Oh, at a premiere. How many premieres did they have?
They premiered it in England. They premiered it in New York. They premiered it in Los Angeles.
You went to the LA premiere.
I went to the LA premiere. I went to I think the Roman Chinese, of which my mother just happened to be on the board of so. Hint. How did I get to go to it? Hint. My grandmother's script supervisor, my grandmother's a relative, and my mother was one of the people upstairs at the theater chain.
That would work.
Yeah, that works. So, but that's it. That was the only picture I think I ever had with Elizabeth Taylor, ever. Because like I said, most of the stuff they did in those movies they threw away. When it went in the cutting room floor, it went into the trash can.
Oh, really? They didn't save it all?
Mm-mm. So all you got is just like one scene where me being an arrogant person, with the one hand behind my back and, with my nose stuck up holding hands. Another scene me hopping over a fence, and a third scene with me waltzing. That's
all
it.
in 3 different movies.
3 different movies. That is it. I'm talking about 30 seconds of time.
That's screen time.
That's 30 seconds screen time. So it's sort of, you don't give credit for people that do 30 seconds of screen time in 3 movies. I mean, I wouldn't give credit today to somebody that did 10 seconds in a movie.
But they do.
That was it. I mean, I ended up mostly on the floor somewhere. They cut me out in the picture.
On the cutting room floor.
I ended up on the cutting room floor a lot. The kid on the cutting room floor. I mean, they called me over. I got lunch and I got $5, and they didn't pay. And they give me the $5 like that. Then I put it in my pocket, and then I leave. Okay, here's the trick was in those days. I got driven over. I did not get driven back.
Oh.
So, but...
so what did you do, just go to your grandma?
Well no, but what happened was we lived in Culver City.
So you walked back from the studio?
I go walk back from the studio like that, I'd have my, because I basically I did have my lunch bucket with me because we had lunch buckets at school. I had my school books and like this, and I do.
Oh, they didn't have all the cell phones during those days.
I know they didn't have any cell phones in those days. We're talking outhouse time in that time period. I mean, we had outhouses over in Englewood in the 1960s. So my father was one of the first people to put indoor plumbing in his place when our place in Culver. But I did, you know, I did dance with Elizabeth Taylor. I've got my books over my shoulder and my little thing, and I'm back in my, you know, the clothes was basically were my knee shorts. Actually, they're about the same length as what I'm wearing now with my shoes. And I was, you know, up at my little strap thing. And I'm coming back. I'm 9 years old, and you know, I'm just like any other kid, except that I had $5. Yes. I had the first car in my block too, folks, because of all those little jobs. Mm-hmm. And why do you do? Why, you know, you get no credit. You know, when I got lunch and money, you know, lunch and money paid for my sports car. It paid for the gas, and I got lunch every day. The lunches got better when I started catering. I got to go have warm food. But that's my recollection of Elizabeth Taylor. She's only known Miss Taylor since, like I said, I saw her, my period when she was the most god-awful nice human being that I mean, I understand she was when she died, she was the most god-awful nice person. But when she became an 18-year-old, I mean, like I said, the late Don Taylor told my father, God, that is one stuck-up bitch. She loves herself.
But, you know, part of that's being an actor or an actress. Don't they have to love themselves?
One other thing, Mr. Taylor didn't remember. She wasn't an American. She was an English woman. Playing an American. She was not an American. She was English. And she was more than likely, that is a problem. I have a suspicion that a lot of her life she played an English woman, not an American.
Yeah.
And, well, she played Cleopatra like she was English. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think she just may have been playing English her entire life. So that's our thing on Elizabeth Taylor until, you know, like I said, 4 times in my life I met her. 3 times I ended up almost all on the cutting room floor, and the 4th time they cut me out. Somewhere, I mean, I did have the original picture until the place burnt, my home burnt. I lost everything I had. All of the stuff that I'd done all my life went up in the fire, so. But soon I'll be back on IMDb, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, you know, that's actually a nice tribute to Dame Elizabeth.
Yeah, so, you know, so.
A unique perspective.
Well, this is old Cabin.
And this is Naughty Spring Chick. And we're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And for more information,
you can go to www.montybubbles.net on the net.
And wherever you're watching us, subscribe to us. And you never know who we're going to come up with next, right? You never do.
No, okay, what happens is, I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but it just looks like every time somebody dies that I worked with, we're probably going to talk about.
It's a tribute to them.
I mean,
yeah.
I can also guarantee
you. It's a unique perspective. They won't get anywhere else.
But this is one of the things that I was in 6 Ernest Borgnine pictures, but I never met Ernest Borgnine ever, because when you work on most pictures, you are not necessarily in the same scenes. I mean,
we saw him the other day.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at Elvis Presley movies, where actually I am one of the dancers you see behind Presley. And then we did.
Well, you guys used to play football together.
We played some football together. But a lot of these things I did, I was never in any of the scenes that the stars were in. That's how it works. I never, as close as I came to Annette Funicello was I was riding the same car as her once when I got picked up, you know, to go over to the thing. So that was it. And, you know, people would see her, she'd get out of the car and she'd say, oh, hi. And everybody, from there, God, he knows Annette Funicello.
You're coming out of the same limo together.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Well, because she was.
It was like, oh, they picked us up from school.
No, what it was, she was a teenage girl and I was older, so her parents were very respectful people. And she was respectful. I was older, she was younger. She did the respectful thing, which the guy is never supposed to, get in, but she got out and I got in, which, God, she got out and let him in. She was also a super nice girl. I dread the day when I have to come out and talk about her. Yeah. So, here we go.
So wherever you're watching us, subscribe to us, follow our daily newscast in 3D, and thank you once again for over 40 million links on the internet.